I've been house hunting lately, and honestly, it's exhausting. I'm looking for a 4-bedroom home for my family. We've got kids. We need space. We're not looking for some mansion. Just a house with enough rooms, maybe a little yard. But every time I pull up a listing, the price nearly makes me fall out of my chair. 300,000, 400,000, sometimes even 500,000 for a basic family home. And it hit me the other day, how did things get this crazy? How is it that my parents' generation could buy a home in their 20s, but here I am in 2025 and I'm struggling to even make the math work? This isn't just my story. This is happening to families all across America. So let's talk about it. Because the truth is, the American dream of homeownership, that dream our parents and grandparents chased, it's slipping away. But here's the crazy part, it didn't happen overnight. It's been a slow squeeze. Decade after decade, the ladder to owning a home has been pulled further and further out of reach. So let's rewind. What was homeownership like 50 years ago? In 1970, the average U.S. house cost about $25,000. That sounds laughably cheap today. But back then, the average household income was about $10,000. So you're talking roughly 2.5 years worth of income to buy a home. That's it. Fast forward to today. The median home price in the US is over $400,000. And the median household income is about $75,000. That's more like 6 years of income to buy a home. More than double the ratio. And that ratio is why so many people are stuck. It used to be possible to buy a home on a single income. Your dad could work a steady job, your mom could stay home with the kids, and you could still afford a modest house with a yard. Today, 2 parents working full-time jobs often can't even qualify for a loan. And if they do, the monthly payment eats half their paycheck. But it gets worse. Back then, mortgage interest rates were in the single digits. Sometimes higher than today, but because the homes were so much cheaper, the payments were manageable. Now, with rates over 7%, even middle-class families are being locked out. Let me put it in perspective. A $300,000 loan at 3% interest, back when rates were low, is about $1,200 a month. That same loan today at 7%? It's nearly $2,000 a month. Same house, same family, but almost double the monthly payment. And that's why people feel like they're drowning. Because it's not just that homes are more expensive, it's that financing them has become brutal. And then you add in wages. Sure, incomes are higher than they were in the 70s. But when you adjust for inflation, wages have barely budged, while home prices skyrocketed like a rocket ship. So when you wonder why your parents bought their first home at 25 and you're 32 still renting a 2-bedroom apartment, that's the answer. The numbers don't add up anymore. So what changed? Why did the system break? There are 4 big reasons, and I've seen all of them while house hunting. First, wages. We already talked about it, but let's be real. A college degree doesn't guarantee a high-paying job anymore. 2 incomes in a household doesn't guarantee you'll get approved for a mortgage. In fact, banks are denying more loans today than they have in years. Not because people are lazy, but because the math just doesn't work. Second, supply. We don't build enough houses. It's that simple. Zoning laws, red tape, high costs, and a lack of land in growing cities have created a massive shortage. And when demand is high but supply is low, prices go crazy. Third, investors. This one drives me nuts. Big corporations, Wall Street funds, and wealthy investors are buying up homes. Not to live in, not to raise families in, but to rent out. Entire neighborhoods are being bought out. And when they're willing to throw down cash offers above asking price, how can a normal family compete? And fourth, interest rates. This is the nail in the coffin. Low rates during the pandemic created a buying frenzy. Now, with rates over 7%, people are frozen. Sellers don't want to give up their cheap mortgages. Buyers can't afford new ones. And so the whole market is gridlocked. That's how you get families like mine stuck renting, paying more in rent than a mortgage should cost, but unable to buy because the system is broken. And this isn't just numbers. It's people. It's the young couple in their late 20s who've saved for years, only to get outbid by a cash investor every single time. It's families crammed into apartments, paying rent that keeps going up while their dream of owning a house drifts further away. It's people forced to move hours away from their jobs just to find something affordable. And then there's the generational wealth gap. Our parents and grandparents bought homes cheap, watched them appreciate, and built equity. That equity turned into retirement security, college funds, and family stability. But if millennials and Gen Z can't buy homes, that wealth never builds. Instead, they're stuck renting forever. And guess what? Rent money doesn't come back. You can't cash out rent at 65. You don't pass rent checks down to your kids. That's why this isn't just about housing. It's about the future of the middle class. Because without homeownership, the wealth gap in America is only going to explode wider and wider. So where does this go from here? What's next? Some people think a crash is coming. Like 2008 all over again. Prices will fall, they say, and houses will be affordable again. But let me be real. Even if prices dip, affordability won't magically fix itself. Because the core problems are still there. We're not building enough. We're not paying enough. And investors still own way too much of the market. So families are left with tough choices. Do you settle for a smaller house in a worse neighborhood? Do you rent forever and hope things change? Do you pack up and move to a cheaper state? None of those options feel good. And that's the scary part. Because owning a home was never supposed to feel impossible. It was supposed to be the foundation of the American dream. But right now it feels more like a fantasy. And that brings me back to my own search. I'm out here looking for a 4-bedroom home. Not a palace. Not a dream house on the beach. Just something safe, solid, and big enough for my family. But every time I scroll listings, the numbers are ridiculous. Even if I could qualify for the loan, the monthly payment would crush us. It feels like we're being asked to gamble our entire future just for a roof over our heads. And I know I'm not the only one. I know some of you watching are in the same boat. Maybe you've put in offers and lost. Maybe you've been saving for years and you still can't compete. Maybe you're watching rents climb so high that saving for a down payment feels impossible. If that's you, I get it. I'm right there with you. And that's why I made this video. Because the housing crisis isn't just numbers and charts. It's families like ours. It's kids growing up in rentals instead of backyards. It's dreams put on hold. And it's stress every single day. So what do you think? Is homeownership in America officially dead? Or do we still have hope? Drop your story in the comments. I want to hear how this crisis is hitting you. And if this video hit home, no pun intended, hit that like button. It really does help more than you know. Subscribe to Wolfgang's Daily Bite for more breakdowns of the stories that actually matter. Not just headlines. Not just hype. But the things shaping our lives every single day. Because the truth is, this crisis isn't going away. And it's time we start talking about it.